Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 490 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin's gaze was as cold as ice as he looked at the four people retreating rapidly, including the man in white who was extremely arrogant and had frozen the ancient umbrella. Their expressions changed greatly and they desperately tried to escape. All of them were powerful cultivators with much higher cultivation levels than Wang Lin. However, right now only their projections were here, so their cultivation levels were suppressed to mid-stage spirit void, a level that wouldn't be detected by the inner realm cultivators. However, these four people had forced Wang Lin to face several life and death crises. If Wang Lin hadn't learned the realm-burning umbrella in the Fallen Land, he would have died to their first combined attack. If Wang Lin hadn't obtained the fortune from the madman, he would have died to the two celestial imperial concubines. Similarly, if he didn't have this bow and arrow, even if he had given it his all, he wouldn't have been able to escape. Staring at the four of them, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with killing intent. He only had the power to launch this one arrow. Once the arrow was used, he would need to sacrifice life force to use this bow, and he had no life force left to sacrifice. He had prepared this arrow for the sovereign, the strongest person that hadn't appeared yet. He intended to wait until everyone who wanted to kill him had shown up and then use this arrow to end this calamity. However, not everything could go as Wang Lin wished. He was not the heavens, so he couldn't change how others acted or control their thoughts. As the four closed in, Wang Lin knew that if he didn't take out the bow and arrow, he would die before the sovereign arrived. His immortal celestial body was not complete. Although it could help a bit, it had also damaged Wang Lin too much. Wang Lin knew that if he experienced a few more collapses, his soul might truly collapse and he would really die before they could even kill him. The only thing remaining would be an immortal body. What was immortal was his body, not his soul. Kill. Wang Lin loosened his right hand that had pulled the bow into a full moon. His right hand trembled and the bowstring released a buzz that echoed across the world. All the force from the bowstring was transferred to the arrow. That arrow moved with the bowstring. When the monstrous force from the bowstring passed through, the arrow shot out. The world changed greatly. A deafening, howling sound echoed across the world. This arrow was like a ray of death that shot out like crazy. What charged out along with it was Wang Lin's soul, origin soul, and all the power inside his body. His ancient energy, celestial bloodline energy, and everything else. At the moment the arrow flew off, all of these things turned into invisible smoke and were absorbed by this arrow. He only had enough power for one arrow. Wang Lin's body trembled due to the bow and showed signs of collapsing. He retreated hundreds of feet but still couldn't offset the force of drawing the bow. Blood flowed out and he was knocked into the water in the distance. However, he stared ahead with a grin. He stared at the shocking arrow that had shot out. Once the arrow shot out, a deep gully appeared in the calm water. This gully seemed to match the arrow and extended as the arrow flew forward. It was as if there was a pair of giant hands forcing the water apart. A huge crack even appeared in the sky. The crack continued to spread and seemed like it was going to break this extremely powerful killing formation that was set to kill Wang Lin. The four people escaped in terror. Heaven Master Void God was the fastest and was the furthest away. The two celestial imperial concubines followed closely after. Their faces showed pain and despair appeared in their eyes. The man in white was lowest in cultivation level and status. He couldn't keep up and fell behind, which resulting in him becoming the person closest to the arrow. The arrow broke through the heavens and earth as it closed in, creating ripples that spread in all directions. A monstrous killing intent came from the arrow, and the runes on the body of the arrow gave off a faint flicker. It was as if at this moment, no person or thing in this world could stop this arrow. In an instant, it closed in on the man in white. The man in white turned deathly pale. He attempted to crush the jade to leave, but although the jade shattered, there was no reaction. At this moment, as the arrow closed in, he felt a sting of pain in his forehead and coughed out blood. He knew he couldn't escape. He let out a roar and turned around to use a spell. However, just as he turned around, the arrow closed in at an unimaginable speed and hit the area between his eyebrows. A thunderous bang rang out and the man in white's head exploded. His body disintegrated layer by layer as the arrow pierced through. His mournful scream disappeared just as it began. This caused the other three to tremble and almost lose their minds. The celestial imperial concubine that was covered by the dark moon looked hideous, but there was terror and despair in her eyes. The arrow closed in and pointed at her forehead. This celestial imperial concubine suddenly turned, exposing her twisted expression. She raised her right hand and layers of light screens appeared. However, the arrow penetrated them all and closed in. At this moment of crisis, the celestial imperial concubine coughed out blood and formed a blood person. It began to take shape, but the arrow pierced through as it shot toward the celestial imperial concubine that had reached the limit of despair. All of this happened in an instant. The celestial imperial concubine took out the ancient harp she had played before. This harp was a gift from the celestial sovereign and an extremely powerful treasure. But just as the ancient harp appeared to block for her, it collapsed into countless fragments. The celestial imperial concubine let out a scream and retreated. But she only retreated 2 steps before the arrow pierced through the harp and through her head. The celestial imperial concubine's head exploded like the man in white's and her body dissipated. The arrow rushed through as her body dissipated. The shocking arrow had killed 2 people in a row, so it had lost some momentum, but it still had monstrous power. At this moment, it shot toward the 3rd person, the woman who had used the divination spell. The woman had witnessed the death of the man in white and then saw her sister collapse. Her face revealed a miserable expression. Although this body was a projection and a normal death would be fine, dying to this arrow would apply serious injuries to her original body. This arrow didn't belong in this world. This arrow came from her hometown. It was a famous treasure of the Li family. Feeling despair, the woman no longer fled. She turned around to face the arrow that was growing larger and larger until it filled her vision. She closed her eyes. Just as she closed her eyes, the arrow closed in on her forehead. Just as it was about to pierce through, a 7-colored light came from her chest. On her neck was a pendant made of a piece of a black, oval-shaped stone. The 7-colored light came from this stone. The pendant floated before her and the 7-colored light surrounded her body. Just at this moment, the arrow pierced through the woman's forehead. She didn't open her eyes until after the arrow passed. She didn't receive any injuries, but a crack had appeared on the floating black stone before her. My most beloved concubine, I give this stone to you. It can protect you. So that even if one day I'm not there, it will still be with you. These soft words from the celestial sovereign echoed in her ears. The arrow pierced through the woman and chased after Heaven Master Void God, who was in fog form. A thunderous rumble echoed across the world when the arrow pierced into the fog. The fog suddenly collapsed. The moment it collapsed, it rapidly condensed into an old man wearing black. His face was pale, and just as he retreated, his body collapsed once more. A miserable scream echoed. In a short period of time, Heaven Master Void God had collapsed several times. When he reformed the last time, the mark between his eyebrows shattered and the arrow pierced through his body. One of the 5 masters of the ancient star system, Heaven Master Void God, let out a miserable smile and exploded. Large amounts of fog dissipated without a trace. Sovereign, this old man has blocked the arrow for you. You have to give this old man an explanation. His mournful roar echoed as he dissipated. The only words that could describe the power of this arrow were, heaven shaking. After killing 3 people, there wasn't much power left in the arrow, but it still howled toward the sky. It was going to attempt to break open the sky and release Wang Lin from his calamity. However, just as the arrow closed in on the sky and the blue light began to flicker, a person silently walked out. This person was wearing a black robe that even covered his face. A powerful pressure spread out from his body. This pressure was far stronger than the mid-stage arcane void cultivation limit allowed in this sealed space. He stretched out his dried-up right hand and grabbed the arrow. His body trembled and then he slowly raised his head to look at Wang Lin. He spoke in a calm and hoarse voice. The roar from borrowing the power from the ancient tomb, blocking the Outer Realm cultivators in the first battle in the Cloud Sea. Wang Lin, we finally meet again. This old man is the sovereign. Wang Lin raised his head and looked at the person in the black robe. How could Wang Lin forget this appearance? This person was the sovereign. The leader of the 5 masters of the ancient star system. Someone with great cunning who had schemed against heaven and earth. Whether it was killing the previous lord of the sealed realm, the destruction of the 4 celestial realms, scheming against celestial emperor Qing Lin, setting up the Tattoo clan to find Li Guang's arrow, the betrayal of Daoist Water, Master Simo's fall, the death of the Shan family ancestor, and various other things all contained the shadow of the sovereign. In the ancient star system, Wang Lin faintly felt like his mind was being manipulated. Thinking about it now, it must have also been an act of the sovereign. In Wang Lin's memory, there was a spell he couldn't erase. It was fishing the moon in the well. He had seen that spell when he faced the 3rd vermilion bird that he suspected to be the sovereign. When he saw the water, he feared that this calamity was also a fishing the moon in the well. What was fished out was planet Suzaku and Wang Lin. Fishing the moon in the well, Wang Lin stood up on the water and calmly looked at the sky. The celestial imperial concubine that hadn't died stood in a daze between the two of them. She retreated a few steps and became silent. The man in the black robe seemed to smile as he said in a hoarse voice, "If it wasn't for Blue Dream taking pity on you, you would have already become this old man's pawn." He then leisurely squeezed and the arrow trembled and dissipated in his hand. He dreaded the power of this arrow, which was why he had delayed his appearance. He had waited until after Wang Lin used the arrow to reveal himself. This arrow had already formed a connection with the bow in Wang Lin's body. After it dissipated, it reappeared inside Wang Lin through some strange method. If Li Guang hadn't died, this arrow would have returned to Li Guang's body. "Tell me, where did you obtain your celestial bloodline?" After the black-robed man squeezed the arrow, he slowly walked toward Wang Lin. Although his pace was slow, each step he took caused Wang Lin to tremble. It was as if endless pressure was pressing on his body from all directions. What was even more bizarre was that a reflection of the black-robed man had appeared on the water's surface and was walking toward Wang Lin. It looked like there were 2 sovereigns, one in the sky and one on the ground. That pressure suddenly doubled and came from both the sky and the earth. This caused Wang Lin's face turn pale, and he couldn't move his body at all, as if he was being stopped by the stop spell. However, his eyes were calm. Things had already reached this point, and Wang Lin knew that it would be very difficult to survive this calamity. He understood this when he released that arrow. "Not going to speak? It doesn't matter. I'll get my answer from you." The black-robed man shook his head and raised his dried-up right hand. He pointed toward Wang Lin. With this, the blue sky disappeared without a trace and was replaced with golden light. This golden light was sunlight that came from a sun that had suddenly appeared in the sky. The sun appeared suddenly and hung in the sky. The aura of the law of origin spread out. As the sunlight flashed, the sovereign's figure became dark. As he walked forward, halos appeared around him. "Aside from that arrow, you have nothing left to use against me. Since the beginning, there was light, and this light is one of the essences this old man has comprehended. Law of origin essence, under the power of the law of origin, your ancient and celestial powers will separate." The sovereign's voice was ancient, and all the light in the world formed a pillar of light that shined on Wang Lin. Wang Lin couldn't resist absolute power. Intense pain came from his body as the light surrounded him. The light was as hot as the sun. Wang Lin felt the familiar law of origin as it burned everything inside him, including the wandering souls. This law of origin was extremely deadly to the wandering souls. Miserable screams echoed and all the wandering souls inside Wang Lin dissipated. Without the wandering souls, Wang Lin's body collapsed under the rejection force and the light. The law of origin forced its way into Wang Lin's flesh and blood. It was going to force Wang Lin's ancient and celestial powers apart. One could faintly see that after Wang Lin's body reformed, the golden light in his body was about to rush out. That feeling of being separated by force was several times more intense than when he fused. Wang Lin's expression became twisted, but he didn't make a sound, he just stared at the sovereign. He was going to remember this, remember everything that had happened to him today. If he had another life, if he didn't die today, then all the pain he had suffered on this day would be paid back 100-fold. He still had one ace he hadn't used. This ace was likely out of his control, but at this moment, Wang Lin didn't care. But he was waiting for the most critical moment, waiting for the sovereign to come closer. Maybe then this ace might be able to change everything. The black-robed figure didn't seem to have any change in his expression from being stared at by Wang Lin. His right index finger slowly stretched out with the other 4 fingers and formed a palm. As the law of origin caused Wang Lin's ancient and celestial powers to separate, he walked closer and closer to Wang Lin. Then his right hand reached toward Wang Lin, fishing the moon in the well. As the black-robed man reached out, his reflection on the surface also reached toward Wang Lin. He wanted to reach out to the celestial bloodline that was forcibly being separated from Wang Lin's body. As he moved, a tearing pain came from Wang Lin's body. This pain almost caused him to scream, but he held back. The veins on his face swelled up and his eyes were bloodshot, but he continued to stare at the sovereign. A little closer. Large amounts of golden light spread out from Wang Lin's body and endless golden blood came from his orifices. Also, inside Wang Lin's bones, the most important bone marrow that made the blood also squeezed its way out of his body. In a flash, under the intense pain, all the blood inside Wang Lin's body spread out, including the bone marrow. All the fortune the madman had given him erupted from his body. From afar, this scene looked extremely shocking. The golden blood that was spraying from Wang Lin's body took human form, and it was shaped like Wang Lin. It was like a soul. Wang Lin seemed to have been split in half, and the figure made of golden light slowly separated from Wang Lin's body. It floated 7 inches above Wang Lin, and less golden light connecting them remained. When the golden figure flew out, Wang Lin's ancient god stars appeared, but there was no golden light. Even the ancient devil stars in his right eye had lost the golden light. The black-robed man's eyes lit up and he mercilessly reached out. The remaining golden light broke. Wang Lin's celestial bloodline was completely separated from his body. When it was separated, the golden figure moved and then turned into a drop of golden blood. This drop of blood contained the half-complete rune for the immortal celestial body. This drop of blood was refined from the fortune the madman had given Wang Lin. Without the celestial bloodline, there was no rejection force. Wang Lin returned back to the way he was when he met the madman. Popping sounds echoed inside him and he returned to his ancient god body. Immortal celestial body. This is the immortal celestial body. Where did you get it? The black-robed man looked at the drop of golden blood floating above Wang Lin. There was strong excitement in his eyes but also a strong sense of fear. The sovereign would rarely lose his composure like this, only this blood could make him like this. He could know everything about Wang Lin, but there was no way for him to know what had happened to Wang Lin inside the nether beast. At this moment, the sovereign stepped forward and his right hand reached out for the drop of golden blood. Just as he did so, there was a monstrous cold gaze in Wang Lin's eyes. He bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of his ancient blood like an arrow. This opened his storage space and a black palace flew out. The moment this palace appeared, the world darkened and Wang Lin's ancient blood landed on one of the windows, dyeing it red. With my name as Ancient Wang Lin, I release your seal to give you your freedom and help me kill my enemy. With Wang Lin's cultivation level, he could only open one window and release one of the powerful souls sealed by Yi Mo. As his voice echoed and the blood fell, the window on the Black Palace trembled. Cracking sounds echoed and it suddenly collapsed. A powerful and excited roar came from the collapsed window. Damn Yi Mo, you sealed his old man, Master Scarlet Soul, for countless years. Today this old man is finally free. With this roar, a red shadow charged out. It was impossible to see the face of the figure, just that it was blood red. A shocking aura appeared with him. The sovereign was too close, so he was hit by the blood shadow when it appeared. He was knocked back several hundred feet and his hood was knocked off, revealing his appearance. Master Scarlet Soul. The red shadow laughed and didn't even look at the sovereign or Wang Lin. In a flash, he went toward the celestial imperial concubine in the distance. The blood shadow surrounded the celestial imperial concubine as she screamed. Her delicate body melted and was devoured by the blood shadow. The blood shadow laughed and charged at the sky. With a flash of blue light, a giant hole appeared. The blood shadow charged out through the hole. At this moment, in the inner realm, on the real planet Suzaku, in a mortal city, the madman was holding an oily chicken leg. Sitting among a group of beggars, he proudly took a bite under the envious gazes of the beggars. He stared at the sky and was in a daze. Damn, he is no longer here. He doesn't care about this king anymore. No, I need to go find him. He can't just leave me. Eh? When the blood shadow charged out of the well, a giant hole appeared in the seal. When the hole appeared, the boundless world began to tremble. Large amounts of cracks spread with the hole as the center. From afar, it was a shocking sight. As the cracks appeared in the sky, countless cracks appeared on the water's surface. The entire world trembled violently as if it was going to collapse. A madman came from the sky. Master Scarlet Soul didn't look down at all. After breaking a hole in the sky, he laughed as he left. Little kid, you have the ancient aura on you. This old man should kill you, but since you've released me, this matter evens out. Ha ha, this old man is finally free. Master Scarlet Soul's voice echoed and no one could stop him from leaving. Even the sovereign had a serious expression as he watched Master Scarlet Soul gradually disappear. Master Scarlet Soul couldn't be controlled, which Wang Lin had expected, but he still felt regret. However, his emergence did resolve the danger of the sovereign reaching out toward the golden blood above Wang Lin. He had also broken open the seal, so Wang Lin could move freely once more. Wang Lin quickly raised his right hand and grabbed the drop of blood above him. This drop of blood was extremely pure and was his celestial bloodline, so it could not be placed in his storage space. He held it in his hand as he charged for the hole in the sky. If I leave this place, I can survive this life and death calamity. Now that a hole has opened, the aura will leak out and all the third-step cultivators in the inner realm will notice. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with madness as he charged at the hole in the sky. The sovereign's law of origin and fishing the moon in the well were used to extract Wang Lin's celestial bloodline. His purpose was to obtain that drop of condensed celestial blood. Although Wang Lin hadn't willingly taken it out, the sovereign had his methods to obtain what he desired. However, because Master Scarlet Soul had rushed out, he was forced back several hundred feet. Although he looked unharmed, his original body had coughed out its second mouthful of blood. The first mouthful of blood came when he grabbed the arrow. After being forced back, he lost the chance to get the blood. As a result, this wasn't a bad thing for Wang Lin. His ancient and celestial bodies hadn't fused and the rejection force was like a blade hanging above his head. He was in extreme danger as his body was constantly collapsing. However, now his ancient and celestial powers had been separated by the sovereign, which resolved the issue of the rejection force, and the blade hanging above him had disappeared. Things in life were often like this. There were losses but also gains. Wang Lin lost his celestial body and celestial bloodline, but at the same time, his body had turned back into an ancient god. The amazing recovery power immediately kicked in. The 5 organs he had lost began to appear and his injuries rapidly recovered. His origin soul appeared inside his body. Although it was weakened, the intense pain was no longer there. He also felt more relaxed. At the same time, the golden blood condensed from his celestial body was not taken by the sovereign and was in Wang Lin's hand. If he survived, he wouldn't try to integrate it by force. Doing so was simply impossible. The result would only be death as it was like a powerful toxin. Wang Lin would choose to refine it into a treasure, a celestial body treasure. Then he would integrate this treasure into his body to avoid the problem of the rejection force and still use its power. When Wang Lin was given this fortune by the madman, he had no power to choose and was forced to absorb. If he had to choose, he would not try to fuse ancient and celestial powers with his current cultivation. Even in the madman's world, no one had ever tried it. The result of trying it by force would only be death. However, the life and death calamity the sovereign had brought upon Wang Lin had resolved this issue. A calamity was a calamity, but it could also be great fortune. These thoughts flashed through Wang Lin's mind as he rushed toward the hole. The moment the hole appeared, all the aura inside erupted outwards. The originally hidden world could no longer be hidden once that hole was made. It was instantly felt by the various third-step cultivators in the inner realm. In the Cloud Sea, Master Hongshan was refining the third-step cultivator they had captured in the seven-colored realm in the summoned river. He had just noticed something strange in the soul when he suddenly looked up into the distance. His expression changed greatly. Not good. Master Hongshan didn't hesitate to put the puppet before him away and step forward. Ripples echoed as he used his full speed and disappeared. The moment he disappeared, Master Zhongxian's teacher also awakened. His pupils shrank and he quickly fused with the world. In the brilliant void realm, in the rain celestial realm, Qing Lin was in closed-door cultivation, healing. He was in a secret room surrounded by mist that gave off a dim glow. At this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and was shocked. Sovereign! His face sank and his right hand ripped open a rift before him. He disappeared in an instant. Also inside the brilliant void, in the corpse sect, Master South Cloud was concentrating on refining a set of formation flags. These flags would be for the next Great War, but as he was refining, he suddenly looked up. His expression changed greatly when he noticed the sealing aura, then he stepped forward without hesitation. The summoned river third-step cultivators also noticed this aura, and they all anxiously moved. In all heaven, a person wearing green was silently walking through the stars. He looked ahead with a dim expression as if he was looking for something, but he found no sign of it. This person was Qing Shui. He let out a sigh and was about to look forward when he suddenly looked back. His expression changed and he stared toward the brilliant void. Wang Lin. After feeling the looming aura in the inner realm, Qing Shui no longer thought about his own matter. Coldness and killing intent filled his eyes as he charged toward the brilliant void. In Summoned River, the young man that had escaped during Wang Lin's divine retribution still couldn't find the place. He had simply decided to hang around the area he suspected. While thinking, his eyes suddenly lit up and he looked toward the brilliant void. Eh? His eyes narrowed and ripples echoed as he disappeared. In the Thunder Celestial Realm, there was a thunderous rumble. The mysterious old ghost Zhon stepped out and charged toward the brilliant void. Various powerful cultivators noticed it when Master Scarlet Soul broke the seal. They all rushed over from all directions. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin was about to step into the hole. Seeing Wang Lin about to leave, the sovereign's eyes revealed a mysterious light. He wouldn't allow this plan to fail, despite the fact that the moment the seal collapsed, everyone in the inner realm would have felt it. Even though old Ghost Zhon or the mysterious person that had seriously injured him with a roar before could instantly appear, he still wasn't going to let Wang Lin escape. Blue Dream. Don't forget our agreement. I'll help you get your wife's body back. The sovereign's voice was calm. At the same time, his dried-up right hand pointed at the sky. After he spoke, a sigh came from the sky. As Wang Lin stepped into the hole in the sky, blue light gathered, forming a light screen blocking Wang Lin. Not only that, but the blue light flashed and knocked Wang Lin back inside. He once said that he wasn't going to attack, but at this moment, he had attacked. When he attacked and blocked Wang Lin from leaving, the relationship between them had been broken clean. There was a complicated look in Wang Lin's eyes. As he was knocked back, the sovereign's right hand pointed at the sky and a red light appeared. Shortly after, orange light appeared, and in the blink of an eye, seven-colored filled the sky. This endless seven-colored light interlaced together, and soon, a giant, seven-colored lance appeared above the sovereign. His dried-up right hand grabbed the seven-colored lance. As he coldly looked at Wang Lin, he threw the lance at him. The seven-colored lance howled through the air, carrying a destructive aura and a power Wang Lin could not resist. This was a lance of death. This video will end here.